Well, the next leg of this road trip finds the Phillies back at Citi Field in New York. They need to win a series, although this has been a very tough place, just as it's been tough against the Mets in 2018. NBC Sports Philadelphia, home of the authentic fan, presents the Phils and the New York Mets. As we begin this weekend series, this is what the Phillies look like in the division. They're 3.5 games behind the Atlanta Braves after the Braves' victory last night in extra innings against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Mets, meanwhile, are 5 away from the Nationals for third place. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with John Kruk. The Mets are playing better baseball record-wise, and it's showing in the standings. But quite frankly, we've watched them all year in the series against the Phillies, and we think they've played well all season.
Yeah, even when they're playing bad, they're playing good against the Phillies, and no one can figure that one out. Other than their starting pitching has just been fantastic. But look at the season series. 8 wins for the Mets, only 5 for the Phillies. Home runs about even. Starters ERA, no big deal, half a run. Bullpen ERA for us, though, that was a strength for us, especially in the season during the season when we're playing the Mets, has been almost 6, and that's got to change in this series, Tom, because we know our starters aren't going to throw complete games. Bullpen has to come up big in this one.
And speaking of the bullpen, the Mets bullpen, 1.45 ERA. They have the second worst bullpen in the National League. All right, well, the Phillies have a smile on their face because tonight Aaron Nola goes, which is an impressive thing, and this is the way it's going to lay out for Aaron Nola for the rest of the year. He's got the Mets tonight, then Washington, and then the Mets again. But more importantly, if the Phillies are within reach, and they think they're going to be, he has 2 starts against the Braves in the final week.
Yeah, and if things stay like they are, Tom, that's a smart move. You want to throw your best out there as much as you can, especially in the month of September. We know he's at his innings. He's already exceeded his innings pitched for a season this year so far, but I think he's ready. I think he's good to go, and he's had so much success against the Mets this season. A lot of off-speed pitches, change-ups, the breaking ball. The Mets will chase out of the zone. We know that. Aaron Nola's best pitch is his breaking ball, and it will be in the show tonight, Tom, a lot.
Well, look at the numbers for Aaron so far against the Mets this year. The only game that he didn't win was the first start he made against the Mets earlier this year. But he has been dynamic, 29 strikeouts in 25 innings. We'll see 2 Cy Young candidates this weekend, Nola tonight and Jacob deGrom on Sunday. All right, so tonight is game 1 of this 3-game series. The Phils looking to get off on a nice note. It'll be Nola against Steven Matz, who's pitched very well for the Mets since he got roughed up by the Phillies. We'll be back with more from Citi Field in just a little bit. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. By Toyota, tested, trusted Toyota. Let's go places. By Citizens Bank, official bank of the Phillies. Visit citizensbank.com. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. mound. I don't think that camera's going to be there the entire game, though. It'd be a pretty good shot to get a chance to look at the pitches, whether they're on the plate or off the plate. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. Well, Carlos Santana finds himself leading things off again for the Phils. Why not? He's hit in 8 consecutive games, and everything that he's hit during that stretch, and even back to the 15th of August, he has hit hard. The other thing that's wide-eyed is Aaron Altair is playing center field and hitting third for the Phils. We'll talk a little bit about that as the evening moves on, and they will face left-hander Steven Matz. The 27-year-old is 5-11 with an earned run average of 4.20. The Mets, though, feel like his last 3 starts since the Phillies scored a bunch of runs against him, in fact 4 earned runs in 2 innings, they feel like he has figured something out. Let's hope he doesn't figure it out as much tonight against the Phils.
Yeah, let's just hope he forgot what he figured out in this outing tonight. But I mean, you know, look, he's got great stuff. Fastball 93, 94, curve, slider, change, but can't stay healthy, Tom. Yeah, that's been his biggest issue.
Yeah, the slider has been the pitch that he's used more often recently. So here is Carlos leading off for the 7th time this year. The first pitch of the night is in there. We're underway from Queens, where the Phillies begin play tonight, 3.5 games out in the National League East. Overall, Santana hitting .228. And there's strike 2, 0-2. Versus lefties, the Phillies have 31 home runs this year, which is 12th most in the National League. And their slugging percentage .356, which is 13th in the National League.
So what you say is we don't hit them well?
Don't hit them as well as they hit right-handers. But
that could change.
That'll change. Outside, he slipped in the batter's box, and it's 2-2. That's Mark Carlson over at first base.
Oh, that was awkward looking, wasn't it?
You know, there's a lot of the drying agent, it looks anyway, around home plate.
They just don't water it.
There's a bouncer foul. Well, they put some of the drying agent down earlier, and you're right, they don't water. They water everything else around.
You ever see the Yankees? The Yankees don't water home plate. They got a place where, like a straight line from first base where guys take their leads, and then second base and third base where they slide.
Swing and a miss. There's the slider we talked about. And Santana goes down on strikes. It looked like he slipped again.
Well, home plate umpire's going out there to try to maneuver something, but that's a nice changeup by Matz. Looked like a slider, didn't it?
It did.
Off his hand, but you can see how he was holding that ball with the circle change.
You're right.
He's kind of pulled it, really. I'm sure that's not where he wants it, down and into a righty, but it worked this time.
Well, that'll bring Rhys Hoskins to the plate. Hoskins 2 for his last 27. Looks like he's trying to dig in a little bit too. His average of 246.
Just like they've been doing. Cubs did it. Marlins did it. Rhys has to figure out a way to get guys from getting inside on him. Whether it be back off the plate, give him a different look, or turn on one real quick and try to jerk one up in the seats.
1 ball and 1 strike to Hoskins, who was 0 for 9 in the series against the Marlins. Inside, 2-1. He's one of a handful of Phillies, and I know that there's not a lot of stock put into batting average as much as there was 10 years ago in Major League Baseball. That ball is pulled. Diving stop by Frazier on 1 hop, and his throw over the first base is in time. That's a heck of a play. He just robbed Rhys Hoskins of a double. 2 outs.
I mean, my gosh, 2 hitters in, we probably got our Hyundai Defensive Player of the game.
Seriously.
Right? That's a heck of a play. I mean, that ball was by him. 1 hop by him, but, you know, that's a veteran guy down there who took his time. A lot of guys would rush that throw thinking they had to really rush. You see how he got upset himself. Hit a good throw over to Smith at first base, but dang, that hurts right there.
So 2 outs. Here's Altair. Anyway, speaking of batting average, John, since the 1st of August, Rhys is at 195. Odubel's at 193. Cesar's at 210. I mean, that's pretty low. And there's no question the Phillies have really struggled since, let's say, the 13th of August, win-loss wise.
Yeah, and you know, when Reese came off the disabled list and he got hot, Phillies started winning. And I don't think there's any, there's any doubt in my mind that, as he goes, we go. And he struggled lately, and the team has struggled.
In fact, the Phillies on the 6th of August were a game and a half up in the division. Since that time, they're 9-17. 2-2 is lined to left center field. That's going to be in for a base hit, and that's going to go to the wall. And Altair is going to get to second base with his 9th double of the year. Well, the hunch that Gabe Kapler had to put him in the number 3 spot, partly because he said, I didn't really have any other options, because I wanted a right-hander to bat against Matz. The hunch, at least for this at-bat, pays off. That's a pretty swing.
Really nice, easy swing by Aaron. But, I think the key to Aaron is when his front foot gets down. And we were talking the other day about hitting, and I don't like to offer unless someone asked. But I just told him, I said, look, you're a hell of an athlete. Be an athlete when you're hitting. And I think he was a little, look, I don't think he's ever struggled like this before.
Certainly didn't last year.
No.
And he was the starting right fielder at the beginning of this year, so it's humbling.
Yep, it is. And here's the thing, if he comes out of it, he'll be a lot stronger player going forward. Some guys it breaks.
1-1 is fouled by Bautista, the former Met.
I know my third year in the big leagues, I guess, I hit 240. Thought I'd never get to play again, and I didn't know how to get out of it. And I'm sure Aaron went through the same thing, and then, it wasn't until I got traded over to the Phillies that I realized how much fun baseball was and how much fun it is to get a bunch of hits.
Yeah, because the first 31 games you hit 184 the next year. And then
it wasn't good, Tom.
No,
Thanks for bringing that up.
Well, I'm going to bring it up because there's a positive. There's a rainbow.
Yeah.
331 when you got traded over to the Phils.
Oop.
Should be proud of yourself, John.
Well, I was just happy to get some hits. And I remember my first at bat with the Phillies. I think we were playing Montreal. I think Kevin Gross was pitching. And Kevin, he threw that hard curveball, slider, or whatever. And I mean, he jammed me. I hit a blooper over the third baseman's head. And I'm like, wow, that's what it's like to get a hit.
It's back toward us. And it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. And a curveball, and he just got a piece of it. Bautista has hit 8 home runs here at this ballpark. He was 1 for 2 as a pinch hitter in the series against the Marlins. Swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Matz. No runs, 1 hit. The Phils leave 1 in scoring position. We'll head to the bottom of the first. It's the Phillies nothing and the Mets coming up. Another strikeout for Mats finished off the top of the first. Now we begin the bottom of the first. Here's the Mets lineup brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. Brandon Nimmo leads it off, hitting .272 with a fantastic on-base percentage. And the McNeil's hit well, and Conforto, his numbers aren't great against everybody else, but against the Phillies for his career, 11 home runs, 33 runs batted in. And they'll face Phillies right-hander Aaron Nola, the Cy Young Award candidate, 15-4, an earned run average of 2.23, and it's been just an incredible season for Aaron Nola.
Yeah, it puts him right there in the Cy Young talk, that's for sure. And look, he's got what? How many starts do we see? He's got what? 5 more?
Yep.
If we score some runs for him, he can win 3 or 4 of those games, get wins, and you never know.
Now the first pitch to Nimmo is a strike on the inner half. Nola's 5-1 lifetime against the Mets, an ERA of 3.29. As we showed you during the open, 3-0 this year. There's a fastball, and it's 0-2.
Yeah, no question why Mickey Callaway has the majority of his hitters in this lineup are left-handed. Trying to neutralize that breaking ball, but guess what? It's just as good against lefties as it is against righties.
Yep, and then he also has the changeup and the two-seamer running off the hip. Outside, 1-2. Last outing for Aaron, he went 5 2/3. He struck out 11. I mean, he had some good stuff, but he did allow the 3 home runs. He'd only allowed 6 before that. Breaking ball hits slowly up the first base line, and Santana takes care of it, and that's what you were talking about, John.
Yeah, it's just, you know, you would think for left-handed hitters it would be an easier pitch to hit, but man, it just breaks, and it breaks so late, and he locates it so well. Like, you rarely see a hanger from it.
Well, he provided us with our Geico quote of the day on having a sense of urgency. The games are limited right now. It's the last month of regular season. We have to find ways to win. We just have to take it game by game, at bat by at bat, down the stretch. I think every game is super important right now. A win is everything right now.
So there is a sense of urgency.
Well, I do think it for him and for the Phillies, the fact that he's on the mound, not that they're going to win every game, but he's starting a series. It would be nice to start the series with a victory. McNeil fouls it. It's 1-1.
Can't sweep him if you don't win the first one, Tom. A little knowledge right there.
I'm going to write
sure
that
a lot of people didn't know.
That should have been our Geico quote of the day.
I just like that someone admitted it, that, you know, this is, you know, it's time. It's every game now. You got to do everything you can.
At a fastball, and it's 1-2. Yeah, 23 games left, counting tonight. Swing and a miss. He went toward the outer half of the plate with that fastball. They had 2 outs. Here are the current NL East standings, as we mentioned. The Phillies thought last night, the way that Arizona Braves game was going, that they might gain a half game instead of losing a half game. Wild card has the Phillies 4.5 games back, but they have to jump over a couple teams to get there. As Conforto takes a breaking ball, 0-1.
Yeah, that game last night, man, Goldschmidt hit the homer. And then Dansby Swanson, 2 out, infield single, steals second, base hit by Tyler Flowers, and he misses third. I thought, oh boy, caught a break. And I thought when Goldschmidt hit the homer, it was going to end. I thought Arizona was just going to win it.
Well, and you couple that with the Red Sox game the day before, and you figure, well, maybe they're snake bit. 1 ball, 1 strike to Conforto. And a fastball, and it's 1-2.
think Aaron's a little upset about that last start. He seems to be pretty locked in.
Showed you the highlights of the last time he faced the Mets, and he got Conforto a couple times in that curveball.
And the comebacker, perfect.
Swing and a miss. He got him with the curve. Back-to-back strikeouts for Aaron Nola. So he strikes out McNeil for the second out, and then Michael Conforto, he decides to go with the curveball finally, and he's able to get him swinging. We'll head to the second.
Worth showing. It's our Coors Light refreshing finish. Monday night, it looks like he makes an awesome effort at Dodger Stadium to catch a foul ball. And there you see the umpire's hand goes up, and he says, yeah, he does make the catch. But watch carefully. See that green bag there? That was filled with baseballs, including one that kind of shoots out as he falls into the stands. Now, Frazier's underneath. What we don't know at the time is he loses the baseball then, but he's able to find that other baseball, which happened to be a hard rubber baseball. Then you see the guy in the Turner jersey handing the actual baseball to a fan. They called him out. Frazier gets back to the dugout, and he says, you know, truth be told, guys, I didn't really catch that ball. That was a small rubber baseball that I showed the umpire, then quickly threw up into the stands once they said he was out. It's a funny story. It resulted in an out for the Mets. It was, I guess, some gamesmanship. But, Tom, for me, what I liked best about it was how honest Frazier was about it. I mean, he pretty much came clean almost right away. But you know what? You take the out, right?
Yeah, if anybody subscribes to The Athletic, they had a great breakdown of it today. And I talked to Todd this morning about it, and he said, I got a little lucky with the whole thing. The fact that there were baseballs, he saw the one on the ledge, the bag of baseballs. He said there were baseballs everywhere.
And there were real baseballs everywhere, Tom, but the one he happened to grab happened to just be a kid's rubber baseball that the fans had brought to the game. That's what I love that part of the story. Then he fires it up into the crowd so that the umpire didn't have a chance to check it.
Cabrera fouls it off the screen. It remains 0-2. Well, the fact that he was lost and just laying, the funny thing he was telling me today, he said he got so tangled up in that bag. He said it was like he just had to pick one of them. As Cabrera takes low, it's 1-2.
Veteran move.
Veteran move. And the other part of the story that I read, and I didn't mention this to him, is that he kept looking over at the family, and the mom thought, well, why does he keep looking over here? It's because he knew that he had done that and that he had thrown their other baseball into the stands. Cabrera strikes out, and one away here in the second. Vertical curve.
Yeah, and a good spot too. And 2 strikes. You know, Asdrubal's aggressive with 2 strikes, and Matt's made it look like a strike, and then next thing you know, it's in the dirt and a swing over.
The Mets actually paid tribute to Asdrubal Cabrera today by thanking Cabby. That's what they call him. By thanking him with a nice little picture up on the video board. Cesar fouls it off the netting near the Mets dugout.
Yeah, it looked like he got a little emotional when I saw him out there stretching, running. Came over with the camera and everyone started cheering, and he tipped his hat a few times. And
swing and a miss. Cesar strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Mets.
Tom, we only had 6 hitters.
That means it's going well for the left-hander.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, just out. I mean, you saw how Cesar got out on his front foot and tried to wait. That's a hard thing to do when you're out on your front foot trying to wait. Trying to wait with your hands back and the weight on your back leg.
Here's Kingery. Kingery was 1 for 5 in the Marlins series, and he takes inside 1-0.
There's only one guy I've ever seen be able to do that. Get out on their front foot and still wait. And actually, he could double hitch, which was amazing to me. If it was a breaking ball, Tony Gwynn.
I was going to say Tony Gwynn.
He'd get fooled, with the breaking ball, and he could double hitch, which was amazing to me.
There's a line drive caught by Frazier at third. That one he has. And the Phillies go down in order here in the 2nd inning. All right, so they've hit a couple balls hard, 3 in fact, but they've struck out 4 times. We'll head to the bottom of the 2nd. It's a 3-game series. All 3 games are at 7:05. Tickets are available for the Phillies and the Nationals by going to Phillies.com. Nationals are hosting the Cubs. That game's in a rain delay as we speak. We go to the bottom of the 2nd. Jay Bruce will lead things off. That ball is crushed. That's going to be a long home run. And Jay Bruce gives the Mets a 1-0 lead over Aaron Nola and the Phils. It's a little bit of the approach that the Cubs took during certain at-bats is, all right, he's going to throw me a fastball with this first AB. I'm going to go get it.
Well, his secondary pitches are so good. I mean, up in the elite level that's your chance. That's your only chance against the guy. And then you see where Alfaro's sitting, down and away. Ball's up and over the center of the plate. I mean, that's just a big miss by Aaron right there. And look, you know, we say it all the time. He could just easily pop that up or swung through it. He didn't. He hit it 500 feet.
6 home runs, 22 RBIs now for Bruce. Here's Frazier. Frazier was 2 for 11 in the Dodgers series. Frazier with 16 home runs, 53 runs batted in. And the 0-1 pitch to him. And it's 0-2.
Yeah, it's funny because I was in there having dinner with Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, and the Mets announcer.
At the Major League table?
At the Major League table, yeah, it was a big one. Dave Hollins actually came in and joined us. But, you know, we talked about that. You know, when you have a great pitcher, he throws a first pitch fastball, you better swing.
Yeah, because look at here. Frazier's gotten 2 curveballs.
Yeah.
And may get another one.
You can't let great pitchers just have strike one. Here, take it. I'll battle you through the rest of the at bat. No, you're probably going to battle yourself back to the dugout and hand your bat to or put your bat in the bat rack.
No balls and 2 strikes to Frazier. And a curveball and a strike 3 call. Third strikeout for Nola. That looked like a pretty good pitch. I don't know why he was peeking back at the umpire.
I think he was just fooled and hoping that he could be the first in baseball that ever happened, that the umpire would just change his mind. That's a great pitch. I think he was trying to deceive the umpire into thinking that was a ball, but I mean, if he goes back and looks at the video, he's going to say, wow, that was kind of right down the middle.
Sean Barber's the home plate umpire tonight. Dominic Smith is now the hitter. Smith here in the big leagues, 200 with 2 home runs, 3 runs batted in, 6 home runs down in AAA. Changeup hit into the shift, and Cesar Hernandez throws out Smith. 2 outs. Are you an authentic fan? Well, of course you are. Put your fandom on display at the final NBC Sports Philadelphia Authentic Fan Night on Tuesday, September 18th versus the Mets. Go to Phillies.com/authenticfan to grab a free Phil's hat and discounted tickets to a game. Phillies return home on Monday. They're home for 3 series before they head out on their final road trip. Breaking ball outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
9-game homestand.
Yeah. Got the Nationals, the Marlins, and then the Mets.
I'll be at the Marlins series. The Marlins.
Curveball in there, 1-1. I asked Gabe today if he thought if there was a number that he thinks the Phillies have to get to win the division. And I kind of knew the answer, what he was going to say. He said, honestly, Tom, he said, I'm thinking about tonight. He said, I'm not thinking about the number. He goes, I'm thinking about getting a win tonight. And, you know, it's the old cliche, I'm taking it 1 at bat at a time, 1 inning at a time, 1 game at a time. But that's what he's told his team. Let's worry about tonight. Because the Phillies have, you know, they're 0-8-1 in series play. Plawecki gets hit in the hand. And Mickey Callaway and the Mets athletic trainer come out just to check it out. Ooh,
missed the elbow guard.
Arm.
Hitting right in the forearm.
May have gotten the top of that that pad, but not much of it. The pad that has the scouting report on it.
Mickey Callaway's pointing at something. He jumped.
As I say, is he fighting that a little bit? That little twist?
Looked like he jumped. Like.
Well, they could let him just run and then check it afterward.
Well, Mickey Callaway had a little grin on his face, so Pilecki said something funny. Taking off all the gear.
All right, so he's going to give it a whirl.
I don't know if he is or not. He's still over there.
Took off one batting glove.
I don't know if he can get that one off.
Look, it's already marked up pretty good. You can see it just below the elbow. I don't mean to laugh, but that bruised up pretty fast. All right, here's Jose Reyes hitting 197 with 4 home runs, playing shortstop tonight. And he pops it up. And that'll go out of play, and it's 0-1.
Hey, Rosario getting, I guess he got a couple days off to relax. He hit us good in Philly the last series.
And he will play tomorrow and Sunday.
I'm sure some of his teammates were teasing me about having Nola-itis. There was a few guys that had Ryanitis when I played.
Curveball waved at 0-2. There's Ahmed Rosario. And the 0-2 pitch coming to Reyes. Curveball swung on it, missed. And that's the 4th strikeout for Aaron Nola, and it retires the side here in the 2nd. Now the Mets do strike first on the home run by that guy, Jay Bruce. We'll head to the 3rd. It's the Mets 1 and the Phillies nothing. The fans section for all the information, and please, John, submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, who were the last 2 Mets pitchers to lead the National League in ERA, which is what Jacob deGrom is doing right now. Aaron Nola is 2nd coming into tonight's game. Kevin Plawecki is hanging in. be Alfaro that leads things off. Alfaro has hit it 9 straight games. He had a nice series against the Marlins. He was 6 for 11 in that series.
Yeah, and at 99 off the bicep. I asked him how he was feeling. He just looked at me like nothing. Wow.
Yeah, he was mad at the time, but worked his way through it.
I'm not sure he'd be the one I'd want to make mad. There's two reasons. One, he's as strong as anyone that we've seen in recent years, and he could probably outrun most of the people he's chasing that run from him.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about the other night when Real Muto was walking up the line with him. Now, Real Muto's in good shape, but it did seem like Alfaro was dwarfing him in some way. I mean, he would have run right over. 1 ball and 1 strike to Jorge. Inside, 2-1.
The thing you love about Alfaro, he doesn't have no pad on there. He doesn't have the guard to protect it. He's hit me again.
There's a strike at the letters, and it's 2-2. If you think there's a pattern of him catching Nola, there is. In fact, I think everybody anticipated that he would be catching tonight. Ramos would catch tomorrow. And what Gabe said, he said, we know the numbers are really good between Alfaro and Nola. There's a comfort level there. 2-2 pitch. And a bit outside, 3-2.
Wecky thought that was it. But, I mean, I think I could catch Aaron and have a good chemistry.
That's true. The thought is the framing that they like with Alfaro, and their feeling is that Nola paints so much on the inside and outside part of the plate that Alfaro has worked himself into being statistically, because they keep stats for everything. Baseball's prospectus has this. Statistically, one of the better framers in baseball. So they feel like there's an advantage there. 3-2 pitch to him. He fouls it back. So Gabe said, we're responsive to it, the fact that the numbers are good, but we also don't want to create a dependence. He said there may come a time, particularly if and when we make the postseason, where we want Wilson Ramos in there because of his bat. And because he's a good defensive catcher.
Wasn't that the...
There's ball 4, and against Plawecki again thought that was a strike. So did Matz. First walk issued by Matz. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Nola squares and bunts it foul. 0-1.
We talked about it the last series when the Mets were in Philly about Plawecki he doesn't throw out what 10% of the runners. This is one of those things. If you're Alfaro, if Smith leaves early like he's kind of creeping now.
I think they'll do it again.
I would think so too.
I think that's a good eye on your part, John, too, because he's not going over to first as he's leaving early. As Nola goes down looking. 5 strikeouts for Matz. Well, that's not what the Phillies needed in that spot.
No, and Aaron, not a very emotional guy, doesn't show emotion. I'm sure he's really chapped right now.
So 1 away, and here's Carlos Santana, who struck out his first time up. Outside, 1-0. Carlos's numbers have picked up. You see his average is at 227. His on-base percentage at 350. Slugging is up 2.
Tell you what I'd like to see is how far. I know they watch tape of Matz and his move and all that, but I'd like to see Jorge get a one-way lead, get a big lead, but a one-way lead, just so Jose David Flores can see his move, and then he can go from there and help the other base runners when and if they get on.
Outside corner, and it's 2-2. Now back again. It remains 2-2. Matza against the Phils on August 16th. Allowed 4 earned runs, 5 hits, in a 9-6 loss to the Phillies. His last start, though, against the Giants, he struck out 11 in 7 innings. He did not get a decision.
And you know what's great about that? When I was sitting at dinner with Keith and Ronnie, they said, yeah, against you guys he looked awful, and then against the Giants he looks like Steve Carlton. You don't know how many times I've talked to other announcers, and anytime a lefty throws a good game, oh, he looked like Steve Carlton. That shows you how impressive that man was.
Another one fouled. It remains 2-2. Keith is to the left. Al is down below behind the camera. Ron is in the middle.
Very, very upset they were today about having to wear suits.
Oh, they are wearing suits.
Because it's below, what, 85 or 90 or whatever the rule is they have.
It remains 2 balls, 2 strikes. Al thinks it's all about him. It's all about Al. Al did not wear a suit today. Inside 3-2. Play by Plawecki to grab that baseball. Because he had no angle at it.
What if he had to throw to second? Carlos might have some cleat marks on his back.
This is the 10th pitch of this at bat. After a throw over to first.
I would assume he has a better move than that.
I was going to say, John, that's not as good move, is it?
Well, if it is, take off.
In the air to left field. Going back on it is Conforto. It is gone. A 2-run bullet by Carlos Santana. That's his 22nd of the year, and the Phils take a 2-1 lead. Whew, that got out of here in a hurry.
The launch angle wasn't too good, but the exit velocity was pretty special, Tom. Yeah, that was a line drive. It looked like a 2-seam fastball by Matz, but again, you look at location. Plawecki wanted it away. He throws it in, middle in, and Santana just won that battle.
Well, now Rhys Hoskins with 2 runs in. He'll take a pitch for a strike. It's 0-1. Hoskins hit a line drive 1 hopper over to third his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, that was nice, wasn't it?
It sure was. It's a lot of home runs allowed by Matz. He's allowed 22 now in 130 and 2/3 innings of work. That one drops in for strike. A changeup, and it's 2-2.
That's another sign of struggling too. Trust me, I've been there, done it. You don't think any pitch that's called a strike is a strike.
Three and two.
Especially because they're pitching him in so much, and that pitch away looks like it's a lot farther away than what it really is.
That's a good point, John, because he has talked to the umpires quite often recently. And there's a strike three called. 6 strikeouts for Matz. And he just fooled him with that changeup. StatCast AI powered by AWS gives us a different look at Santana's home run. You're right about the launch angle, John.
I mean, he's in the very back of the batter's box, and Matt's tried to get that fastball by him, and 4.2 seconds, Tom, to exit the ballpark. Oof.
Altair, line one to left center field, his first time up for a double. That one's off the end of the bat, 1-1. We talked about it before that Gabe said that it was kind of because they didn't really have anybody else to bat, a right-hander to bat in the number 3 spot, because he wanted Cabrera to bat 5th behind Bautista, because he thinks that the number 5 spot is even more important than the number 3 spot in his thoughts on, you know, arranging a lineup. And he said the fact that Aaron's splits were better, and he recognizes that it was AAA, but better and a little more comparable to last year for him in the big leagues, felt like, all right, he's getting better with his swing. And he told him he wanted to just focus on, you know, putting the baseball sort of in a tunnel and just kind of focusing on the ball just coming to the plate, trying to block everything else out around it. And he said, you know, there's something to the number 3 spot in the order, and you've talked about that. And he said, I felt like if I put him there, that maybe there's something that'll, you know, that'll click with it.
Well, it's a confidence thing. You know, Aaron probably thinks with a manager has confidence in him, he'd hit me 3rd.
He's thrown out by Frazier. The Phillies do score 2, though, on the home run by Carlos Santana. We'll move to the bottom of the 3rd. It's the Phils 2 and the Mets 1. Off from the Pennsylvania Lottery. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly. And by Nissan, shop choosenissan.com. That's a look at Carlos Santana taking a look at his home run, which has given the Phillies a 2-1 lead as we start the bottom of the 9th inning. It'll be Matz, Nimmo, and McNeil. Nola delivers the first pitch somewhere off the plate. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Same spot and strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Aaron just missed out on being the pitcher of the month in the month of August. Hector Neris won the reliever of the month, which was great for the Phillies and for Hector. Cole Hamels, though, won the pitcher of the month. And it's hard to argue with what Cole did. His earned run average was under 1. A lot of strikeouts and an unbeaten mark with the Cubs. And Hamels joined 2 pitchers that are the only 2 pitchers since that award has been given out to win pitcher of the month after they were acquired in a trade. The other 2 were CC Sabathia in 2008, who was lights out with the Milwaukee Brewers, and Randy Johnson when he went to the Astros in '98. I always forget that Johnson pitched that last half of the season with the Astros.
Briefly.
1-2 pitch to Matz. No hit it foul. I would think there'll be some pitcher of the month honors in Aaron Nola's future.
Pitcher of the month is great, but Cy Young's better.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a tough race.
Yeah, it is.
Curveball off the end of the bat, spinning toward first. Santana has it and tags Matz out. Yeah, there's 1 away. Aaron kind of got in his way because I don't think either knew whether they should. One should go to the bag and the other one should peel off. Did Matz hurt himself?
Yeah, it looked like he was limping going back.
It did.
I mean, if anything, you see, watch his left leg, how he tries to avoid the tag, but then reach back with the left leg right there. Could it be a groin?
He definitely looked like he was walking softly into the dugout. Here's Nimmo, who grounded out his first time up. He takes a changeup low. Nimmo's hitting .318 in the second half of the season. It's a second half that has the Mets playing .500 baseball. They're 24-24. Strangely, the Phillies have the 4th best record since the All-Star break in the National League East.
He missed some time too when he got hit by a pitch by, forget who was pitching for us, Tom.
2-1.
Remember, he's trying to bunt or something and hit it, or no, he swung and it hit his hand.
And it hit his hand, and he grounded it up the third base line.
Yeah.
And they thought that he would just be off for a couple of days, but he wound up being placed on the disabled list. Plate umpire moved a little bit on that one. Curveball, and it's 3-2. Man, that is just an amazing pitch.
And that was the harder one. That, like, I know he's not looking for a breaking ball 3-1, so I'll just throw this one to get over. And that, he's liable to throw that big one now that has more break to it, that goes down and in to the lefties.
And there it is. He took it that time. Ball 4. First walk issued by Nola. September baseball is underway. Don't miss your chance to see the Phillies at home with the Student Steal. It's a $15 ticket plus a voucher for something out at Ashburn Alley. It's called a John. Your John options are Chickies and Pete's Crab Fries, Bull's Barbecue, Tony Luke's, Hatfield Hot Dog and Coke. Go to Phillies.com/studentsteel to purchase your tickets. And here is McNeil. Throw over to first. Nimmo, who has stolen 8 bases, gets back easily. And a fastball inside. Well, that pitch must just be missing.
Yeah, they were right there. Timing close pitches.
Runner goes. Pitch is lined out to right field. On the run, Bautista. He's not going to get there. Heading to third and being waved home is Nimmo. And the Mets are going to tie this ball game up on a floating double by Jeff McNeil. It's a 2-2 game.
Tom, I don't know if you know what that was, but that was a hit and run.
I don't think we've seen more than, would you say, 10 hit and runs this year? And I'm being
10
liberal with saying 10.
Tell you what, though, good base running by Nimmo, and I mean, look at this pitch. I mean, this pitch is almost ankle high, and I mean that's a Chase Utley abbreviated little punch swing. Look at that. It's like he's chipping, but he hit it in a perfect spot. You know, pretty big outfield here, but a perfect spot. Nimmo never stopped. You know, and he scored easily.
Well, now Conforto with a runner in scoring position. And a curveball, 0-1.
At what point are you Michael Conforto? Do you go up and say, I'm sitting on a breaking ball until this at bat's over?
Based on the last 2 meetings, I would say now.
And he's still jumping out. You know, he's still jumping for the fastball.
Outside, Alfaro may have been crossed up on that. Take another peek at that McNeil swing.
I mean, it's off the ground.
That's an Ichiro swing right there, John.
That is an Ichiro. Vlad Guerrero. I mean, it's amazing how short his, like if you took all his swings from minor leagues to since he's been called up, that might have been the worst one he's ever had, and it was a double.
Well, Greg Legg, the Phillies Reading manager, is with the ball club now, and he'll be with the club for a little bit because his team wound up their season. We were talking about McNeil today. He said, you know what, I followed him all throughout his minor league career. We've played against him all throughout his minor league career. He has always hit. He said he wasn't a top prospect by any stretch of the imagination. He said, but I'm telling you, he hit at every level.
Yeah, and you know, they said that when he first got called up, he struggled turning double plays. But, you know, look, you're not in a race. The man can hit. You know, he can learn how to turn a double play. And they said he's gotten a lot better at it.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Conforto with a runner at second. And a breaking ball. He lays off 3-2. Jay Bruce on deck. He homered his last time.
Curveball in the air, right center field. Bautista will come in. He'll make the catch as McNeil goes back to second. 2 outs here in the third. Jay Bruce coming up. We'll take a look at our Giant home run replay, his last AB.
Yeah, first pitch leading off the second inning, and man, did he absolutely annihilate that Aaron Nola fastball. And that's what you mean, hunt the fastball first pitch, the apple comes up. We don't want to ever see that again. But that's our Giant home run replay. First pitch. Now, if you're Jay Bruce, you said first pitch breaking ball now.
Or changeup?
Yeah, something off speed, because you know you got Frazier up next, who's not having a great year. Got a base open.
Throws him a, looked like a changeup, wasn't it? Or was that a curveball?
It was a curveball. You didn't think, I mean, he wouldn't have thought he was getting another fastball first pitch, would you?
No, I would not think so. He does get a fastball and he fouls it back.
I bet there hasn't been many, you know, shutdown innings for Aaron where he didn't shut the other team down. I could imagine he hasn't had many of those innings this year.
Yeah, with all the success he's had.
I can't see it happening more than what, once or twice, maybe.
Curveball hit sharply, picked on one hop by a sprawling Carlos Santana, and to the bag to retire the Mets here in the third. That was an outstanding play on a hard hit baseball. We'll go to the fourth. Phillies and the Mets tied up at 2. Your shipping messages get noticed, and WB Mason delivers the same day when you order by 11:30. Local service, personalized. Who but WB Mason?
All right, let's get that one back.
Yeah, we go to the top of the fourth inning. Bautista leads it off. He struck out his first time. First pitch outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Inside and low, 2 balls, no strikes. Mets starters over the last 30 games have won 15 of those 30 games. They've gotten the win. In this day and age, that's probably a high number. Ball is smoked and caught by Frazier.
I want to try someone else.
Yeah,
he seems to be able to catch the ball pretty good today.
Maybe hit it to the right side instead of the left side. And now Cabrera.
Think there's any question he caught that one?
He was hit so hard he probably could have walked it over to first base anyway. Cabrera bounces one over to third. Frazier backs up on it and throws out Asdrubal Cabrera for the second out here in the fourth.
The boys aren't listening, Tom.
No. Here's David Wright, who has not been activated yet by the Mets. He took ground balls today at third base with Todd Frazier.
Did you get a chance to speak to him?
Not yet. I just waved, and I was going to talk to him when he was finished working out. The fans would like to see him be activated, at least for the short term. Those are his lifetime numbers. A career that seemingly, at least at this point, is going to be cut short because of continued back issues.
Yeah, it's a shame too, because he was what the Mets were going to build their future around a few years ago, and just the injuries and the back issues. Such a class act. I mean, he's the kind of guy you would build your program or your organization around. Like the Phillies are doing with Reese, and of course that guy on the left ain't too bad either if you like good pitching.
All the way, 3-2.
Like to see him get an at bat, hit a home run,
then retire.
And just.
I think a lot of people anticipated that it would be this weekend that he would be activated, since time is running out on the season. Now there's ball four. Cesar draws a 2-out walk. Second walk issued by Matz. The last one was followed 2 hitters later by a home run. And now Scott Kingery, who lined out to third.
Yeah, he needs to go somewhere else with it. That guy at third's catching the ball tonight, Tom. Brought his glove. Maybe try that left center field gap.
Yeah, it was good for Aaron Altair earlier.
It would definitely score Cesar with 2 outs. Hey, Mets only showed the one move.
That was it.
And it wasn't a good one.
Outside again, 2-1. How do you feel about going here?
The numbers say that Plawecki struggles throwing. And Matz has only thrown over once, and it was not a very good move. I don't even know if Cesar takes off first move, if Smith would be able to throw him out at second.
Cesar was able to read that one pretty easily.
I mean, is the fear he has to have a better one than that? But I would imagine there's enough tape on him to show that it would tell you that he has a better one than that, you would think.
Inside corner, and it's 2-2 to Kingery. A line drive, base hit it to center field. All right, so Cesar stops at second, and the Phils have first and second with 2 outs. MLB At Bat is your #1 Philadelphia Phillies app. Customize your experience to catch every moment this season. Get Phillies home screen icons and features such as the MLB.tv Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcasts, stats, news, and more. Download MLB At Bat today. Young Phillies fans coming up to watch the start of this series. Alfaro walked his first time up.
Yeah, when we first started this, right first pitch, there wasn't that many people here, but it's starting to fill in.
Yeah, they have a decent crowd. Upper deck is open in the outfield, but the concourses were pretty crowded earlier. One ball and 1 strike. I think he got a pitch that he liked. He just didn't time the changeup.
When did he start that circle the wagons thing after swings and misses?
I could be wrong. I would think around June.
Yeah, he wasn't doing it in April, May.
He was not.
No, he wasn't. I don't even remember him doing it before the All-Star break.
'94 on the fastball, 1-2. Runners lead off, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And Alfaro strikes out. That is the 7th strikeout for Matz. Phillies leave a couple here in the 4th inning. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 men left. We move on to the bottom of the 4th in a 2-2 ball game. And by W.B. Mason. Who bought W.B. Mason for fast, free delivery? Nobody does it better. That's the play by Carlos Santana, which ended the 3rd. And this 2-2 game retired Jay Bruce, who's blasted a home run and hit that one right on the nose, too. And now as we go to the bottom of the 4th inning, it'll be Todd Frazier to lead it off. Against Aaron Nola, the Phils left 2 in their half of the 4th inning. A walk to Cesar, and he basically stayed at first, and then a single from Kingery to put runners on first and second. Frazier went down looking his first time up. Phillies are 2-4 this year here at Citi Field. The Mets have won 2 of those games with walk-offs. Statistically, though, the Mets have struggled this year, playing better since the All-Star break, even much better since the middle of August. They average over the last 50 home games, and not all of this includes most of it includes since the All-Star break and just before, but they average 2.9 runs per game here.
That ain't a lot, is it?
Not a lot of runs. Mickey Callaway, the manager of the Mets, who's been on their fire for a good portion of the year, but that's what we talked about before since the All-Star break.
The thing is, too, about this game, you got your #1 pitcher going, one of the best in the game. And, you know, Matz is a good pitcher, but he hasn't really proven to be a big winner yet.
No, high ERA, high slugging against.
And, you know, if you're the Phillies, you have to look at this and say, wait, now Saturday we got Syndergaard, Sunday we got DeGrom.
1-2 is hit to the left side. Charging is Kingery. He has it. And flips over to first. 1 out. Well, time now for our Nissan upgrade to the technology of tomorrow today. And that's how good Aaron Nola has been, John, on the road the last 6 starts. I know he's given up 2 runs here tonight. The last 6 starts, 4-1 with a 1.10 ERA.
Cy Young worthy. But, you know, if you look at the series as a whole, and I know they're saying one game at a time, but when this guy pitches, you got to win.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's, you know, I don't think I'm going overboard by saying this is a must win. It's pretty much a must win.
1 ball, no strikes to Dominic Smith. And a changeup outside 2-0. Strike, 2-1. Well, that's a good changeup, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, he pitches lefties in with that 2-seamer. That, you know, you have to be conscious of that pitch, and that's where I would compare him to Greg Maddux, because Greg Maddux had that pitch, but he also had the great changeup also.
Curveball and a strike 3 called right on the outside part of the plate. 5 strikeouts for Nola tonight.
And I think Aaron's like Maddux a lot. Like I think he outthinks hitters.
Yeah, he is a bright young man.
I mean, that's a perfect breaking ball. Might have been a little out, but you know, you mentioned the framing job by Jorge. Yep, out just a little bit, but close enough to get the call.
Well, he definitely did bring it in. One ball, no strikes to Plawecki, who was hit by a pitch his first time up. Yeah, it is amazing to see some of the numbers that they have on catchers with their framing. I never even knew they had it up until this year. But Baseball Prospectus has, I mean, they probably follow the catching stats, I think, better than most. They have him in the top 10 in framing, pitches that he's attempted to frame. And then they have all other categories, including runs that catchers save, framing, all this stuff. There's a strike at the knees, 1-2. Curveball hit in the air, left center field, playable for Altair. He's about a step from the track, and he reels it in. A 1-2-3 inning for Aaron Nola. Mets go down in order. We will move on to the 5th inning. The Phillies and the Mets tied up at 2. We'll lead it off. It'll be Nola, Santana, and Rhys Hoskins. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Well, we're going to look at the New York Mets lineup. You know, it's a little bit different. The Mets have been playing some good baseball, as you guys have mentioned, over the past couple weeks. And part of the reason is what they've done at the top of their lineup. Now, you mentioned Rosario not getting the start tonight, not leading off for the Mets, and followed by Jeff McNeil. That 1-2 punch for the Mets has been pretty good. In fact, Rosario has played more games than any other New York Met this year. He's played in 131 of them, which is why we're not seeing him tonight. Mickey Callaway talking to reporters before the game, and he said, look, honestly, we had a day off yesterday. I just wanted to give him one more day because we expect that Rosario is going to play the rest of this season from here on out. And they're getting a chance to see two of their very good young players at the top of their lineup. And right now, it's kind of old school the way that they're building their lineup, but right now it's been working for the Mets.
Yeah, they feel like McNeil has played enough to know that his 300 batting average, 320 batting average, is an indication that he can do it moving forward. You know, a lot of times you bring people up in September, John, and it's September, so it's hard to tell it. But he's been up since before that.
And he's hit everywhere.
3 balls and 2 strikes to Nola. Dominic Smith, on the other hand, not so much.
Yeah, he's struggled.
Nola swing and a miss. That's 8 strikeouts for Matz. And 1 out. We'll go back to the top of the order for Santana.
I mean, if you're the Mets, though, don't you throw Dominic Smith out there every day and say, you either do or you don't?
They've been playing Bruce over at first. And to just keep Smith there.
You know, it's up to you. You know, you got 3 more weeks. Prove to us you can hit, and we need to keep you.
Santana takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Carlos has accounted for the 2 runs for the Phillies. A 2-run home run. Pops it up. Dominic Smith in foul territory. Makes the grab for the 2nd out. And now Rhys Hoskins. I will say this. Matt's got the first 2 outs fast in the 4th inning. And then the Phils worked him a little bit. And now he's gotten the first 2 outs here very quickly.
96 pitches already.
Yeah, they have bullpen action behind him.
Well, he's up 2nd next inning, so they might say the heck with it and move on.
which is good for the Phillies and any team that gets into the Mets bullpen aside from Gesellman and Lugo.
That ain't them. Or he ain't them. Eric Hanhold.
Eric Hanhold. You're right, though, John, about the inside pitch.
Yeah, they're just, I mean, you know, when Kyle Hendricks, who throws 88, and he was staying in on him and then soft away.
How would you fix it from the left side? What you said before, move off the plate a little bit?
I think move off the plate and just show him a different look.
2-2 pitch to him. Fouls it back.
The thing with Rhees's swing is, you know, he does have the little uppercut. He does drop his bat and flatten it out. It makes it hard to hit that inside pitch because you have a loop in your swing. He needs to go directly to the ball with his bottom hand and you know, hit it more with the top hand. Take the bottom hand toward the ball and then hit it with the top hand. He's trying to hit that ball with his bottom hand, and that's why he's got that loop.
Fly ball short center field. McNeil is out. He's under it. And a fairly easy inning for Matz. It may be his last inning. He sets the Phillies down in order. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th inning here in New York. Minor League Report, Citizens Bank, the official bank of the Phils. Well, the playoffs are still going on, but Scranton's pitching staff is handling the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. Last night, the Iron Pigs only had one hit against the Rail Riders. Tonight, Rail Riders lead 1-0 despite the fact that Drew Anderson has allowed only one earned run. Meanwhile, Lakewood has a 1-0 lead over Kannapolis. Lakewood leads that series 1-0. Marty Malloy's team still playing well. There's Andrew Knapp. He had the one hit last night for the Iron Pigs. You know what it earned him?
Promotion.
A promotion to the big leagues. Actually, Scranton has just added another run as we speak. And it's 2-0. What pitch coming to Reyes, who struck out his first time. It's inside, 2-0.
You know, have you seen this year? A left-hand hitter taking the ball with him on a bunt?
I have not.
I mean, Cesar's in the grass. Carlos is, you know, relatively deep for, you know, a speedy runner like Reyes. Like, wouldn't you think he would? And he's hitting 180 or whatever.
I do think that's still part of the game.
Yeah,
punting for a base hit.
you know, Cesar's 2 steps out into the grass and Carlos is back. Now 3-0, you don't have to worry about it. He should be taken. But I mean, look how deep they are. You get, as long as you get it past Nola, you're safe. I don't get it. If I was hitting 197, I'd try anything I can to get on base.
With his speed, absolutely. Changeup hit softly to the right side. Santana shovels to Nola comfortably. And it's 3-1 on the putout. And that'll bring Jack Reinheimer up. Jump to the head of the line by placing a deposit for a 2019 season ticket plan. Go to Phillies.com/season deposits or call 215-463-5000. As an added bonus, 2019 season ticket deposit accounts will receive 2018 postseason ticket access. Rick Kranitz is coming out. A little scouting report on Reinheimer.
First ball fastball hitter.
Maybe to give him a little bit of time after running over to first base.
Okay, let's go with that. It's an official visit, Tom, but according to home plate umpire Sean Barber.
That is correct. He gave us the signal. I think he put up the number 2, meaning the Phillies have 4 left. On the inside corner, and it's 0-1. Phillies bullpen is just stretching, just getting themselves loose. I don't think there's any chance that this young man will leave the game with 70 pitches. One ball and 1 strike. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Down the right field line, it remains 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, I was talking to a visiting clubhouse attendant, Tony Carullo, my old buddy Tony.
The legendary Tony
Legendary.
Carullo.
And
lost a lot of weight.
Yes, he has. He looks good. But he said he had so many lockers he had to double up because the Phillies have so many people here.
35 players. And a lot of coaches.
Yeah, and they brought up how many? They had, well, we had 10 to start with or something like that, didn't we? And they brought up like what, 3 or 4 more?
Andy Abad is here. Shavi, pitching coordinator's here.
And he said, man, he goes, it's tough fitting them all in. And then Jameson
Hall,
our
traveling secretary.
Oh, that hit him. Traveling secretary said, well, you got to hold on. I think we got another strength coach coming up at some point this weekend. And I told Tony, I said, you might have to move out of your office and let some people dress in here.
Can't be strong enough, John.
Well, I guess.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Noah's got a signs and delivers. And a changeup and a called strike 3. Little element of the surprise there. 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
Look at that beautiful low. Look at that. I mean, that's a 3-2 to a rookie. And you're dropping a 3-2 changeup. He's probably running back there thinking, you got to be kidding me. You know what, young man? You ain't the first.
And you're not going to be the last.
He is one of the best in the game right now, is Aaron Nola.
Nimmo's 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. And a pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Or he didn't frame that one too well. Tom
kept on fading on him.
Got past him a little.
Look, he's clapping to the music.
Oh, the stress of catching.
Curveball, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike to Nimmo. They are underway in Washington, where the Cubs and the Nationals are scoreless. Nats are 8.5 games out. Phillies 3.5 out. Atlanta, Arizona will get underway a little later. The fastball 1-2.
You should get back to the hotel to watch some of that Arizona game, huh?
Didn't run back. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nola this year against the National League East came into this ball game with an 8-2 record, an earned run average of 1.77.
I had a pizza last night watching the Eagles game. $41.
How about this cat?
It's, you know, if he has like Phillies wristbands on and Marlins socks, and he's got every.
Just a fan of the division.
Got the whole division.
Aaron Nola picks up a strikeout looking. Another good curve. That's 7 strikeouts for Nola. We are through 5 innings here at Citi Field. We'll go to the 6th. It's a 2-2 game. League only stepped into a Phil's uniform for the first time August 15th, but his contributions thus far have paid off. Matt Klentak acquired the 31-year-old All-Star Wilson Ramos to add much-needed offense to the Phil's lineup, and that he has done. In his first 14 games with the Phil's, Wilson batted .362 with 8 extra base hits and 9 runs batted in. His bat and contributions have been a major plus. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Top of the 6th inning, the Phillies 2, the Mets 2, and Odubel Herrera is going to pinch hit for Aaron Altair. With the new pitcher, the right-hander Eric Hanhold coming in. Hanhold an inning and a third against the Dodgers in his season debut. He had a 4.20 ERA in the minor leagues. And the first pitch is in there, 0-1. I actually thought that Aaron might bat there just because his swings, I know he grounded out his last time up, but he looked comfortable. I know it's righty on righty. But I guess you have so many players, you can afford to use them. And Odubel serves one down the left field line.
Yes.
It is a fair ball. And it kicks off the wall, and Odubel's going to go to second base. So there you go, John. A leadoff double here in the 6th inning. That is the thing about September, and it doesn't matter whether you're in a pennant race or not. You have so many guys off the bench that you can easily go to somebody in the 6th inning.
Yeah, change up by Handhold, and it's something that Odubel hasn't been doing a lot of lately, and that's shooting the ball the other way. That's a beautiful thing. When he's doing that, that's when he's a dangerous hitter. Now Nick's going to hit for Bautista.
Yep, Williams will bat for Bautista. And a first pitch inside and low, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. So, you know, this is the thought, the way Gabe has it laid out. If they bring in a right-hander, he's going to go with his left-handed lineup because he realizes they got Blevins in the bullpen as a left-hander. 1 ball and no strikes. Inside, 2 balls and no strikes. They have Blevins in the bullpen as a left-hander and Zamora, but that's it, John. Everybody else is a right-hander out of the pen. They have 10 right-handed pitchers out of the bullpen.
I hope we get to see them all.
Little tapper foul. There's Zamora. He's the one of the 2. Blevins is the other one.
Too late. Lefties are already in for us.
2-2. And you figure that by the time they get back around with the lefties, they may have Blevins still available if they bring Zamora in. But you can deal with it.
Yep.
The Phillies do have Franco available tonight too, by the way.
Get these in here. Get Odubel in, get a lead.
3-2.
See Nick try to drive something right center to the right field line. Even if Jay Bruce catches it, Odubel should get to third.
Swing and a miss. That's what you didn't want. So 1 out here in the 6th.
What is that, a slider?
I think it's a slider.
A little bigger dot than what you would normally see. One of the tightest spin.
So now is Drupal Cabrera, who's 0 for 2 tonight. A lifetime .261 hitter here at Citi Field with 31 career home runs. And he fouls it back 0-1. I wouldn't mind seeing him put one into Utley's corner right now. Down the right field line.
I just like to see it hit the outfield grass.
That too. There's Utley's corner right above the stub hub.
I saw Odubel in the dugout last half inning when the Phillies were out there out in the field, and you know, he was stretching and running in the dugout, and I'm like Aaron made the last out, right? So, or no, he made the first out of the last inning. He wasn't going to hit for 6 more hitters. And man, he's getting prepared early. Little did I know, Tom.
Upstairs, 1-2. That one's back toward the middle, a base hit it to center field. Herrera's around third, heading for home. He'll score. It's an RBI single for Cabrera, and the Phillies retake the lead. It's 3-2. 74th RBI for Asdrubal Cabrera.
Love those ground balls to center field, Tom. That's a beautiful thing. Stay up the middle. 2 strikes. He shortened up, put it in play. Good things happen most of the time. And he put it in play. Nimmo. I think he was going to get me with that throw, but beautiful innings so far for the Phillies.
Cesar lifts it out to short right, and Bruce is there to make the catch. So 2 away, and that'll bring Scott Kingery up.
I wonder if there was any thought in the Mets dugout about maybe putting Asdrubal on.
With first base open and
yeah,
just pitching to Cesar.
Cesar's been struggling, and Scotty, I mean, he's got a hit tonight, but he's been struggling, especially against righties.
Outside and low. One ball and 1 strike to Kingery. Little dribbler foul, 1 and 2. Fly ball right center field. Bruce on the run, and he's going to track it down. That'll get to it a couple steps from the warning track. Phillies do get a run, though, on the RBI single by Asdrubal Cabrera. We'll move to the bottom of the 6th. To smile about. He has been good again tonight. He's got 5 innings under his belt, 7 strikeouts. He's allowed 2 runs. And his breaking ball has been good. Probably his slider hasn't been its best, but he's gotten some outs with the slider. In fact, right there was one of them that you saw to Reinheimer. There's the curveball to Nimmo, and he'll begin the 6th inning with a 1-run lead.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me how hitters react to his pitches. And you know he's got a good enough fastball. You have to respect that. But I mean, how many strikeout look-ins?
He has 4 of his 7 looking.
And here is McNeil. McNeil struck out his first time up, but doubled home run his last time. And he hits one back toward the middle. Diving catch by Scott Kingery, one away. Boy, he was positioned perfectly near the second base bag and was able to corral that one on the glove side.
That's a heck of a play. We've seen some good defense today. Frazier, Santana, and now Kingery with the dive to rob McNeil of a base hit and a leadoff batter on base taken away, which is huge. Get that first out of the inning.
There's Conforto, who is 0 for 2. He is struck out and flied out to right. And a curveball hit sharply on one hop to Santana. And there are 2 outs.
Pitch count's going up, Tom.
Beautiful.
Was that 3 pitches?
Yes.
In this inning?
2.
Oh, McNeil swung at the first pitch.
I thought McNeil fouled the first one, but no, it's 2. All right, so Bruce has homered and hit the ball sharply to first on a good play. Very good play by Santana. So maybe you throw him a changeup here.
I think you'd be careful with him. Might start with a fastball in off the plate. And
there's a changeup, 0-1.
or that.
The home run by Bruce earlier in the game was his 22nd career home run against the Phillies. Fastball in.
It's .316 batting averages against the Phillies is the highest versus any NL team.
He did have good numbers when he was with the Reds.
I thought he might stay with Cleveland. It looked like he had such a fun time there a couple years ago with that run that the Indians went on. Was it last year? Last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, this year he's just been, Mets traded him to Cleveland, but this year he has just been injury prone. 1-2 pitch. A little low.
Breaking ball.
We tried another changeup. That remains 3-2 to Bruce. Fly ball right center field. Nick Williams is out there. So is Odubel. Odubel says he has it and he puts it away and the inning is over. That is 11 in a row retired by Aaron Nola. We move to the top of the 7th. Phillies up 1. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda dealers game summary. That shot by Carlos Santana gave the Phils a 2-1 lead after the Mets tied it. An RBI single by Asdrubal Cabrera gave the Mets the Phillies the lead again. Aaron Nola, 6 innings, 2 hits. One was a home run, 7 strikeouts. As we go to the top of the 7th inning, it'll be Tyler Bachelor who will take over. With a 4.62 earned run average. He'll face Alfaro and then Nola. Swing and miss, 0-1. It's 0-2. He's got some life on that fastball.
Fooling around, is he?
Bachelor, a 25-year-old who was an 11th round pick out of South Georgia College. And he delivers a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And Alfaro strikes out. Phillies baseball is brought to you by your local Ford store. Check out every new Ford car, truck, and SUV crossover at buyfordnow.com today. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. So here's Nola. Phillies have struck out 10 times tonight. And Nola fouls it off to the right and out of play. Nola's pitch count, because he only had 9 pitches in the last inning, is still at a good spot. So that's why he's hitting here, and will pitch the 7th. It's very rare that he comes out before the 7th inning.
Look at him battling, huh?
Fighting off those fastballs. That last one was at 97 miles an hour. And that's the first breaking ball, and it's 1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Get him laying off. He's laying off those tough sliders. 98, spitting on the slider. Getting him one right here, though. Get that baby started early, Aaron.
And a fastball in there. Second strikeout for Bachelor. 2 outs here in the 7th. We'll move back to the top of the order for Carlos Santana. Santana homered back in the 3rd. He's also struck out and popped out. Looking for another home run right there. Getting started early with 98 miles an hour. Got some challenging going on here.
There's no fooling around with Bachelor, is there? Yeah, I like to see that, though. If you're the Mets, I come out of the bullpen just here. I mean, I think he's one of the few pitchers I've seen this year that's figured out it's hard to hit 98.
Popped up and out of play. John, how about this? An update to our minor league report. Rail Riders in Lehigh Valley tied at 2, but more importantly, Lakewood has defeated Kannapolis, and Spencer Howard has thrown a no-hitter.
Wow.
For the Blue Claws. He walked 1 batter, struck out 9. Congratulations. That is a pretty sweet way to put a playoff victory away. Former second-round pick by the Phils out of Cal State San Luis Obispo. And a line drive foul off the bat of Santana. He finished 9 and 8 this year, an ERA of 3.78. He's part of a rotation in Lakewood for most of the year that was exceptional. The no-hitter tonight.
Man, that's awesome. It's Roy Halladay like, right? First playoff, one of the first playoff games, throw a no-hitter.
Yes. And a high pop-up on the right side. And Dominic Smith will make the catch, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils here in the 7th. We move on to the bottom of the 7th inning. It's the Phillies 3 and the Mets 2. Falcons and pay special tribute to head coach Doug Peterson. Listen to his Rube Knows podcast on NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com or wherever you get your podcasts. Eagles fans can continue to wear that jersey proud after last night's victory over the Falcons to kick off the 2018 season.
Tell you what, that game, first half was a snore fest. Wow. So many penalties. And the second half got better, and it got real exciting at the end, but I wish the Eagles wouldn't do that to us old men. But, hey, a win's a win.
Here we go. We start the bottom of the 7th inning, and Frazier thought about showing bunt, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Tom, you can't go undefeated unless you win the first one.
It's like you can't sweep the series unless you win the first one.
Yeah, you know. There's a lot of common sense being thrown out here tonight.
Can't use more than one Geico quote of the day today, John.
Nah, we save them for next week.
Fly ball left center field. Herrera, who is shaded toward right center, has plenty of time to get over and under it and makes the catch, 1 out. Aaron Nola's on the mound tonight. There's also a whole bunch of the Phillies front office employees that have come up with their Aaron Nola t-shirts from the French Quarter. That's right. The French Quarter will be back. The new cheering section brings a little slice of home for Aaron Nola. Don't miss Nola's next scheduled start on Wednesday, September 12th versus the Nationals at 7:05 Your game ticket in sections 108 and 109 includes an exclusive NOLA t-shirt and Mardi Gras beads. Purchase your tickets now through Phillies.com/French Quarter.
I don't like
to join the fun.
I don't want the beads, but I got to get one of those shirts.
We got one for you.
Medium.
It's back. We got you a medium back in the office.
Uh-oh.
Dominic Smith out to left center field. Odubel's on the run, back to the fence, and it is gone. This ball game is tied up. 2 solo home runs tonight for the Mets. That's 5 homers given up by Aaron in his last 2 games. And it's a 3-3 ball game.
That changeup out over the plate, and it just stayed up. Stayed right to the barrel of Dominic Smith. And, you know, he's a prospect for a reason. He has some pop in his bat, and he got that one, and now he got a dadgummit. Now he's got to work.
Well, he's got Plawecki, who is 0 for 1. Takes a curveball 0-1. One ball, 1 strike.
Tell you what, did you see that coming from Smith?
Not even a little bit. A little low with a changeup, 2-1.
It's Sir Anthony down there warming up.
Yeah, Dominguez warming up in the bullpen for the Phils. Another changeup, but it's 2-2. Aaron's allowed 3 hits tonight, and that's it. 2 solo home runs and an RBI double by McNeil. He had retired 12 in a row. Swing and a miss. That is his 8th strikeout of the night. All right, John, it's time now for our Ram Truck Stump the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. The question was, who were the last 2 Mets pitchers to lead the National League in ERA?
I got Doc Gooden.
Doc Gooden is correct, back in 1985, John.
And gosh, I mean, you got to go with Seaver, right?
I would have thought Seaver, yes, but it's not the last 2. So, got Gooden. That's for Gooden.
Who was the other one? Cone, Darling?
Nope.
Viola?
Nope. Close.
Saberhagen?
No, say Viola again. I said close. Another lefty.
Santana?
Yeah, Johan Santana back in 08.
I'll see him Tuesday, I think.
Oh, you will?
Yeah. No, maybe no, but not this dude. No, next after the season's over.
You better get
our
meeting straight.
Our daughters play sports against each other. Rival schools.
Oh, one is inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Reyes. Now DeGrom right now leads the National League in earned run average.
Huh.
Over to first base, and Santana on the glove side, and the inning is over. 3-1 on the putout, but the Mets do tie it up. A solo home run by Dominic Smith ties it up at 3. We'll go to the 8th.
Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. And by Jefferson Health. Call 800-JEF-NOW or visit jeffersonhealth.org. Now the tennis center where the U.S. Open is taking place. John, you could have won and watched Serena Williams yesterday.
I should have thought of that, Tom, but I'm not sure tennis is my thing.
Could have just stayed there and come over to the ballpark the next day. Bachelor throws a fastball that Reese fouls off, and it's 0-1. Reese is 0 for 3 tonight. Robbed of a hit by Todd Frazier. Struck out looking and popped out to short center. As we begin the top of the 8th inning, tied at 3. The Mets have 3 hits. The Phillies have 5. It's been a low scoring, quiet offensive night for both teams. Inside, 1-2. Odubel's on deck, so I would think that Zamora is coming in for him.
Well, you got Odubel and Nick, 2 lefties. We have Roman Quinn available.
Yeah, Roman, despite the fact he's out with a sore foot, Gabe thought would be available to pinch hit. Maikel Franco is available. He swung during early hitting today. In the air to left field. That one is going to be long gone. And Rhys Hoskins has just given the Phils the lead again. It's a 4-3 ball game here in the top of the 8th inning.
Whew. Desperately did he and the Phillies need that.
0 for his last 14 before that home run. It's his 28th of the year. 85 runs batted in.
Now, we talked about it, the pitch in, and he got to that one, and watch his hands right here, how he just went down with it. He attacked it with his bottom hand, but he hit it with his top hand. A little bat flip right there. I think that's more out of, oh boy, thank goodness. What a swing.
So pitching change for the Mets. The Phils have the lead again. We'll be back after this. T-Mobile. And we take a look at this swing right here, Rhys Hoskins.
Yeah, it's he wanted that pitch a little more in. I think he wanted it in off the plate just to show him that pitch and see if he can get a swing. And that ball caught a little too much of the plate. And boy, like I said, Rhys needed that one. A little hook 'em horns to the bullpen. But he needed that one badly, as did this team need that badly.
Yeah, I know we talk about a lot of numbers as Zamora delivers way outside to Odubel, but that is the, and I think this is a huge number for the guy that we consider one of the leaders of this team. His 16th go-ahead home run this year. I mean, that's making his home runs be felt. One ball, no strikes to Odubel, and he fouls it back. It's 1-1. Daniel Zamora is the 4th pitcher used tonight by the Mets.
You see a game in Colorado 2 nights ago when Charlie Blackmon got hit in the on-deck circle in the helmet?
Yep. That was the night that Trevor Story had the 3 home runs.
Yeah.
And one was longer than the other.
Oh, man, they were missiles.
Swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. There you go, John. It's what we were just talking about. 16 of his 28 home runs this season have given the Phils the lead. Swing and a miss again, and Odubel strikes out. So 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning.
And they're calling Nick back.
Yeah, Nick Williams is heading back to the dugout, and he'll be pinch hit for by Wilson Ramos. Let's check in with Murph with the Major League Notebook.
All right, thanks, Tom. Brought to you by the University of Maryland, University College. And first up, some news on the Red Sox. They get some good news about Chris Sale. He is going to be activated from the disabled list on Tuesday. But guys, get this. He is not going to be a starter for them right off the bat. He is going to be an opener. Alex Cora saying today that they're going to use him for no more than 2 innings or 40 pitches in his first couple starts back off the disabled list. He'll serve as that opener as they kind of ease his way back into the lineup. And also a developing story that we told you a little bit about the other day from Florida, but that is that Shohei Ohtani has decided he is not going to have surgery before the end of the season. He is in need probably of Tommy John surgery. He said he's going to keep his options open, make that decision in the offseason, and continue to hit until this season is over. So we speculated whether or not he would do that. He is saying that he is going to do that and maybe not even have surgery when it's all said and done. He did hit his 19th home run of the season, which is a new record among Japanese rookies here in Major League Baseball. And finally, you saw it on the Major League Notebook. Happy birthday to our producer, Jeff Halleckman.
Yeah.
Celebrating number 47, I think.
47.
I think.
Man, he is getting up there in age, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Still a baby. Still a baby.
Here's Drew Smith. Double switch coming for the Mets when we return. Switch, and Drew Smith is in for the Mets, one of the guys they're really high on from their minor leagues. as he faces Wilson Ramos. Ramos pinch hitting for Nick Williams. Ramos hitting .306 on the year with 15 home runs. Drew Smith is a former third-round pick of the Tigers. So far, 2.55 earned run average in the big leagues. He delivers low. He's coming out throwing 97 miles an hour or two, which I guess shouldn't be a surprise anymore.
It's no shocker, but it doesn't look like it, does it? Like it's. I guess I'm not down there, thank God.
Fouled away, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Ramos. The Mets actually got Drew Smith from the Tampa Bay Rays for Lucas Duda, who then went on to the Royals and now is with the Braves. Inside, 3-2. That one's hit the opposite way. A base hit for Wilson Ramos. Now he'll be pinch run for, I would assume.
Pedro Florimon looks like he's going to run for Wilson.
Will be Florimon will come on.
I know one thing, I ain't got a big enough piece of paper for all this.
You gotta just keep crossing guys off, John.
You think at some point they'll change these rules and just have, you know, you have to set your roster, 25-man roster before every series?
You know, I know they've talked about it. They've been doing it this way for so long, though. I mean,
make it right,
going back, I think into the 60s, they were doing it this way.
Doesn't make it right.
But they've been talking about doing that. I wonder if they would start at like 30.
I say you got to make you put in a 25-man roster before every series.
Yeah. Honestly, John, you can do it before every game.
Yeah, but here's the issue: if you do that, you're in the same situation because you don't put your 4 other starters on. So now you have 4 extra guys, whether it be bullpen guys or position players.
All right, I got you.
That's why you got to do it before every series.
1 ball and no strikes to Cabrera. Runner goes, pitch is taken high, throw to second base is in time. Florimon is thinking that he got his hand in. Gabe Kapler has both hands up, yelling to Sean Barber that they want to take a look at it. Rob Thompson on the phone. Let's see what the decider sees. I think Florimon's saying his hand got in and they didn't tag him, but it's tough to tell by that shot.
Yeah, they waved it off, so apparently they didn't see enough to want to challenge.
Boy, I don't know. His tag was, the throw was there, but the tag was really tardy. 2-1 to Cabrera. .26 on the putout. That one's pulled into the shift. McNeil has it, throws off balance to first, and a sweeping dig by Dominic Smith.
Jose David Flores is telling him to take a look at it. He keeps looking in our dugout. I don't know if he thought that Smith might have had his foot come off the base. But it's going to be a long time to get the Mets players back out on the field if they challenge us and win it. Nope.
Phillies will wave it off. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. It's a 1-run lead.
Oh boy, Drew's still in there.
In the 7th inning, Dominic Smith ties it up against Aaron Nola. Opposite field here, John.
Yeah, change up in the zone, but when we needed it most, boy, and a guy who came in struggling is Rhys Hoskins. He got a fastball by Bachelor and didn't miss it, Tommy, and those are our Toyota turning points of the game. One tied it up, one put us ahead.
Well, now as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning, it'll be Med Rosario who will lead things off against Sir Anthony Dominguez. A little tapper back toward the mound. Dominguez has it. And one away here in the bottom of the 8th inning. Other changes for the Phillies is Pedro Florimon is staying in the ballgame to play right field. As you see Dominguez's numbers. So I guess Roman Quinn may not be 100%.
Yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know what he could do if he can't play defense.
Here's Brandon Nimmo, and he'll take a strike. 0-1. Just off the outside corner. 1-1. That pitch was a changeup from Sir Anthony Dominguez. Low. 2-1. There's Roman. Took a foul ball off his foot in Wednesday's finale against the Marlins. Ground ball right side. Cesar to his left, a couple steps, 2 outs. Every time a Phillies pitcher like Sir Anthony Dominguez delivers a pitch of 95 miles per hour or more, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest internet in Philadelphia. And now McNeil, who is 1 for 3. He has struck out, doubled in a run, and lined out to center field. And he swings at the first pitch, and Cesar is up with it again. And a quick 8th inning for Sir Anthony Dominguez. The Mets go down in order. We go to the ninth. The Phils looking for some insurance when we come back. Plays of the game.
Yeah, Todd Frazier's made a couple good ones. There's one in the first inning against Reese. Look at this play. Just bullet down the line, hooking away from him. Good catch, good throw. And then Carlos Santana, not to be outdone, he makes a heck of a play right there on Jay Bruce to record an out. Look at that. It's a tough play right there. Ball hit to your non-glove side. You short hop it, but those are defensive plays of the game. Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
And now we go to the top of the ninth inning. It'll be Cesar Hernandez, Scott Kingery, and then Jorge Alfaro for the Phillies. And they're facing right-hander Drew Smith, and it's 0-2 to Cesar. I don't think Cesar liked that pitch off the outside part of the plate. Swing and a miss. That's the first out here at the top of the ninth, and now Scott Kingery, who is 1 for 3. Phillies trying to take care of business here, and then hope that the Arizona Diamondbacks take care of business in Phoenix. That game is just underway. Kingery takes a breaking ball, and it's 0-1.
I can't tell. Who's that down there warming up? Is that Tommy Hunter?
It is Tommy Hunter loosening up in the bullpen. He's thrown the ball well for the Phils recently.
And that's one of Gabe's things he told us, right? Tommy against lefties. You got Conforto and Bruce leading off the ninth for the Mets.
Little floater out towards shallow left center field, and Nimmo is there. There are 2 outs now in the ninth inning. And Alfaro is coming up. Justin Bohr is out in the on deck circle to pinch hit. Alfaro is 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored tonight. Runs high with 97. Tomorrow the Phillies and the Mets will be back at it. It'll be Syndergaard against Zach Eflin. Boy, Zach needs a good outing tomorrow, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And we need to do the same approach we had against the last time we faced Syndergaard. Get guys on, hunt that fastball, and don't miss it.
And maybe swipe a bag or 5.
Yep, indeed.
1 ball and 1 strike. There's Zach.
Camera shy?
Yeah, he's hiding his face from
there
the
he
camera.
goes.
Looking up over the plains. Planes fly over here all the time. There's Syndergaard. Out toward right field, and Jay Bruce wanders in, puts it away. It's a 1-2-3, top of the 9th inning. So that sets up the bottom of the 9th inning. The Phils hanging on to a 1-run lead over the Mets. Inning. Tommy Hunter is the new pitcher for the Phils. He has pitched well recently for the Phillies. Closed a couple games, has a few holds. And he is on to try to seal the deal on this one. The last 15 games for Tommy, an earned run average of 1.47. And he's trying to save it for Aaron Nola, who's trying to become a 16-game winner. Well, Murphy certainly has been durable for the Phils.
He absolutely has been that, Tom. He's been a bit of a bulldog for the Phillies. He's the kind of guy that will take the ball whenever it is handed to him. And I had a conversation with him just the other day. I said, you know, when you come out onto the field late in the game, what is your mentality? And I expected him to say something like, you know what, I just want to come out and beat that guy and, you know, pitch my best. What he said was, he said, you know, it's kind of changed over the last couple of years. 3 years ago, or almost 3 years ago, he had his first son, Henry, and then just recently their son, Oliver, was born, he and his wife, Ellen. And he said nowadays he thinks about them right before he comes out onto the mound. He has 2 gloves, each with an inscription. One says Alley Cat for Oliver, one says Old Hank for Henry. And he says, I tap that and I say to myself, let's go out, let's get the job done. Let's he and his wife Ellen have talked about buying a farm. He said, let's go out and get that farm. He pats their name and he runs out on the field. He says, you know, things change when you start having kids. A little bit of a different perspective, right?
They certainly do. They certainly do. He gets Conforto to roll over on one out towards shallow right field, and Cesar throws him out. So that's 1 out here in the 9th inning. Yeah, as a ball player, you go through all these stages. First round pick out of the University of Alabama. He had no kids. He wasn't married. And now all these years later, as he's evolved as a pitcher, you know, his personal life has evolved too.
He's evolved as a human.
Yes, he has, John. Jay Bruce takes low. Be nice to get this 1-run victory. The Phillies were so good in 1-run games before the All-Star break. They only have 1 win in a 1-run game since. There's a rocket foul, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. This guy's hitting the ball hard tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's making up for lost time, I guess. still think you gotta get away with him. If he hits the ball the other way out, so be it. But he's a dead pull hitter.
Out to center field. Odubel on the run, back toward the fence, has room, and he makes the catch a step from the wall. After the ball game, Michael Barkan, Tommy Green, and Corey Seidman are standing by on Pure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. They're going to talk about Nola and how good he was over 7, even though he gave up a couple solo home runs. They're going to talk about Rhys Hoskins' home run that gave the Phillies the lead, and hopefully talk about this bullpen closing the door on a Phillies victory. And that's all coming up on Phillies post-game live, which we hope to get you to quickly. Frazier hits one toward the hole, backhanded by Kingery. He sets and throws in time, and the ball game is over. The Phils win it 4-3 as Tommy Hunter makes easy work of the Mets here in the bottom of the 9th inning, and Aaron Nola is a 16-game winner. Rhys Hoskins' solo home run gave the Phils the victory for good. That had to feel good. 16 home runs this year for Rhys have given the Phils the lead. And not only that, for the time being, the Phils 3 games out of the National League East. They'll keep an eye on what's going on out in Arizona. He is our Chevrolet player of the game, Rhys is. How about the work by Sir Anthony Dominguez and Tommy Hunter tonight? Yeah, got out of there quickly, but our WB Mason delivery of the game is right here. Bachelor tried to go, he wanted the ball in, did Plawecki, and he didn't get it there, and Rhys, look, it's 97, you still got to hit it, and he hit it a long way to give us the lead, and that's what we held on to, and he's down on the field with our Greg Murphy.
Good, but certainly number 28 probably felt particularly good tonight, yes?
Yeah, 100%. It's a big win. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty here, and it's time to win ball games, just short and simple. So yeah, definitely felt good. That's why you trust the work. Keep your head down and keep working.
You seem to be getting a steady diet inside, and it looked like that one, leaked out over the plate, and you obviously knew what to do with it. How frustrating has it been, and how does that help the frustration go away in an instant?
Well, baseball is a game of adjustments, and like you said, that's what the frustrating part is when you don't make adjustments back. But like you said, I think you missed a little bit, and it felt good to connect on a good swing.
This team, I know we're not saying must wins, but this team did need this win. Obviously, you've got your ace out on the hill to come out, start a series with that. How can you build off this? How do you use this as momentum? Yeah, start a series on the road with a win. We got 2 guys going the rest of the weekend that we feel pretty confident with. So to win a series, go back home and ride the momentum of a series win into a homestand. You got the stash going. Are you going to keep that? I think it's got to stay now. I think it does too. All right, Rhys, thanks for your time. We appreciate it. Guys, back upstairs. All right, Murph, thank you very much. Our thanks to Rhys Hoskins as well. Tommy Hunter picks up the save. He made very easy work of the New York Mets in the bottom of the 9th inning. All smiles for the Phils. They win it 4-3. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.